your host tonight as we talk about some cautionary tales for students applying to college. Annually, the Kaplan Test Prep Corporation does some research to survey all of the colleges and universities in the United States to find out how they make their college admissions decisions. One of the most recent surveys of 381 colleges found that 31% of colleges and universities had visited an applicant's Facebook page or other kinds of social media, and 30% of those who considered social media said that admission decisions were negatively affected. That brings us to our first story tonight of a young student who had applied to Bowdoin College and was in the process of being admitted. However, she attended a freshman orientation session, and during the session, she used her Twitter account to make very disparaging remarks about the content of the program and other attendees of the orientation event. Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid, Scott Michaeljohn, says that it was incredibly foolish of her to do that. Ultimately, Bowdoin did not admit the student and says that it was based primarily on her academic performance, but he does say that Bowdoin would have wondered about the judgment of someone who spends their time on their mobile phone and makes such awful remarks. So let's take this cautionary tale from this young applicant at Bowdoin College to remind us that what we do say on Twitter can follow us in the college admissions process. Second up tonight, we have the words of Martha Blevins Allman, Dean of Admissions at Wake Forest University. Dr. Allman says, "We never use it as a single indicator and we don't search blindly, but if we have other suspicions, we will look." So if a college admissions counselor at Wake Forest University is concerned that they don't have the full picture of a college applicant, then they will turn to Facebook and other social media to find out about the personality of the student that they may be admitting to their new college class. And Paul Mathers, Vice President of Enrollment at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, has said that his school has turned up cases of plagiarism and even accusations of sexual assault using social media, thus causing them not to admit students into the incoming freshman class. And last, we have the tale of a young boy who was an applicant for Sewanee, the University of the South. Laurie Saxon, a spokeswoman at Sewanee, says that poking around online isn't encouraged, but if a student draws attention, we check it. And indeed, Sewanee did have a recent incident where the student who was attending a summer program prior to beginning the freshman year at Sewanee did post very inappropriate comments on the university's Facebook page for new incoming freshmen to read. Sewanee handled the incident in a way that some colleges and universities are choosing to handle these situations because sometimes the legal and ethical implications are not very clear cut. College admissions directors say that they want to allow students to have a private life and to allow teenagers to be able to be teenagers. However, they do have a responsibility about making the wisest decisions possible for creating each class each year. And what Sewanee chose to do in this case is the student did have to go before the dean of students, have a conversation about what was inappropriate and appropriate behavior, and the student was asked to remove the comments, which he did do voluntarily, and then he was able to continue with his admission at Sewanee. So what should you, as a prospective college student or as an educator who's working with prospective college students, how can you help students to be sure that they're able to negotiate the world of social media and their college applications. Well, Kaplan President Jeff Olson has a few recommendations for us. He suggests that every student Google themselves just to see what comes up, to see what kinds of things may be out there on the internet that have been tagged or connected to a person's name in some way. And if you find something that you wouldn't want others to find, that you take steps to correct that. Mr. Olson also says to please make yourself familiar with the privacy controls on all of the social media sites. Remember that they are constantly changing and they need to be constantly updated, and that you should make prudent decisions about what you're posting on social media sites, but that you should make full use of the privacy controls that are at your disposal. Mr. Olson also says to keep photos appropriate. Think about who may see these photos and what kind of image that portrays of yourself. And then he also says to be mindful of offensive or opinionated tweets and posts and how those may be read. Thank you for joining me for tonight's edition of College Corner.